Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Frosty Does It. I'm Frosty, and today we're gonna work on this F550. I bought this truck and it was a fleet truck and worked pretty hard most of its life, and the flatbed is in huge need of repairs. It looks okay from a distance, but when you get up to it, it's pretty rough. So I'm gonna show you some areas that I'm gonna repair on this thing, and we're gonna cut out the old and weld in some new metal. So this is my 2012 F550. It has a 6.7 in it. It's 4-wheel drive. Bought this out of Iowa. I live in Wisconsin. The flatbed has got some real rough areas, mostly in the sides here. Underneath this rub rail, it's just real rotted out. You can probably actually put your finger through some of this stuff. So the other side was really bad. You can see how thin it is here. And just kind of big pieces are just flaking off. If I hit it with a hammer, I'm pretty sure we'd lose half the side of it. It's got a couple of holes in it. So the aim of today is I'm gonna cut off the rub rails. I'm gonna cut off the whole side piece. And then I made a couple new pieces at work, and we're going to put a whole new side on it. I already did the other side. Here you can see the other side. Already cut out all that and welded in new metal. I still have some repair work to do here. This whole area was rotted out, so I cut that out. We'll have to take some of this plate here and we'll make up this piece and we'll weld that back into. Putting in the new metal is the easy part. Cutting out the old stuff and getting it unstuck from all the cross members and keeping the stake pockets intact was the hard part. So if you're interested in doing a repair like this on one of your trucks or your flatbeds, or just like watching welding videos or repair videos, this is for you. What I'm going to start with first is I'm just going to take a cutoff wheel and I'm going to zip off the rub rail as close as I can to all the bed sides. Make sure you wear something to cover your eyes. Little burrs will get in your eyes, and that's not a good time. So wear your PPE. Cutoff wheel makes pretty short work of those. Just get as close as you can, get the rub rail off. Come in from the top and I come in from the bottom. I'm just gonna take this one off and this one off, and we'll see what type of shape this part of the bed is in. This part might not have to be done. It looks pretty solid up in here, but then this part's questionable, so maybe we'll come up this far. We'll get a hammer out and start poking holes in it. You can get a better idea. You can see how this is all just flaking off. This is super thin. This bed was powder coated, and it just seems like the powder coat, once it starts to lift up, the water and moisture gets behind it and it just holds it. You know, I don't think I'd ever buy a powder coated bed, or actually powder coated anything. I feel like a good epoxy primer or etching primer and epoxy paint is the best way to go. As soon as you damage this, water gets under it and it's over. I mean, this is a pretty reputable big name flatbed. You know, it's an Knapheide bed. I'm sure this has been used for a long time. This is a 2012 truck, so you know, it could be at least 12 years old, 11 years old, or who knows, maybe it was even older. It's got the cutout for the def, so it was probably put on this truck when this truck was new. We got one more to get off. I will probably try to reuse these rub rails. This one's got a pretty good bend in it, but got a nice press at work that we can just put that in and straighten it back out, clean up our edges and weld everything back together. I have the rub rail from the other side still, so we'll repair all those at the same time. You can just see how this stuff is just you see how that hole just opens up, and that was a spot where there wasn't even a hole. There's another one. So the whole side is like that. Let me poke around a little bit and see if we should go all the way up. Don't do anything from here forward, then we don't have to get this toolbox off. You know, we can just repair it from here back. The other side did have a toolbox. I took that off because it was like this, pretty much the whole side. Decisions. I'm going to cut it right here and cut this off. So I marked out a couple lines. Real hard to see, but there's a line here, all the way back, right between the stake pocket and the frame rail. There's another line. So I'm going to take my cutoff wheel and go up and down with those. Use the cutoff wheel because I'm much more precise with it than I am with a plasma cutter. Alright, I made my cuts on the side and the front end of the bed, the rear end of the bed. And the way these side pockets are welded on is there's a little weld on the bottom side of each pocket. So if you cut down the middle, you can kind of see the piece is actually shaped like a C. So if you cut down the middle here, then you can peel away the sides and you can cut them off. So I'm going to cut down the middle of those 3 stake pockets. All right, we've got our slits cut and our stake pockets. And I was going to use a plasma cutter to go all the way down, but the cutoff wheel is cutting through this 1/8 inch diamond plate pretty easy. It's pretty thin in a lot of places. I have better control with it. I don't have to worry about setting up the plasma cutter and all that. This is already set up and plugged in. So we're gonna zip down this top rail on the corner. All right, we got the top separated. It's pretty straight. It's not perfect, but nothing I do is perfect. So now we're gonna start trying to peel off the side. We'll take the def fill off and we'll grab some adjustable pliers and some pry bars and some chisels and start trying to peel this off. right, we got that whole side panel cut off. Now I just have to go back and trim off some of these, but you can see the stake pockets. They're just welded right here on either side, and they're like that on all of them. So you just have to nip that little spot, at least on this bed. You know, the manufacturer wants to put the least amount of welds on this thing as possible, and they make it, and thank goodness for that, I guess, in this situation. Found a nice crack on the toolbox strap here, so we'll fix that. This toolbox might have to come back out so I can weld that part in. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to it unless I take it out. But these cross members, you just kind of have to cut below them and above them, and then these bigger, fatter ones, I just kind of cut around them, and I come back with a cutoff wheel once the whole side's off, and I make that flush to this one. But it's not hard. It was a little complicated to figure out the first time I took it apart on the other side, but now that I've done a side, it's going a lot faster. And this all seems really nice and solid still. It was a little bit questionable in this spot. I might cut out, sorry for the bad photography here, I might cut this out. It's still solid, but the diamond plate is just really thin here. Looks like it's even cracked. So I might take out a square and replace that as well. Well, I'm going to clean up these, grind them up off camera, and then we'll come back on the next step. All right, we got all the edges here cleaned up, and then all the spots where you actually weld to, like underneath all these cross members, and then on the sides, the stake pockets, and then on the insides of the lips. And all the top rail, nice shiny metal. Probably looks a lot worse on camera than it does in real life. Trust me, it's shiny. And free of junk. This is the piece that we bent up at my work. It's 1/8 inch diamond plate. We have a shear and a brake at work, so that makes this really handy. Just put a nice 90-degree on the bottom. I'll try to do this with one hand. That will just butt up. Just like so. We'll weld it on the sides, the cross members, and the top here. And I'll have to make one more little piece for that stake pocket to cover. But we'll weld all that in, make her look brand new. Alright, off camera, I took the box out so I could get behind this area and weld it up easier. The box is a little bit rusty too. I think we'll clean up all this dirt. There's like 1.5 inches worth of mud stuck in that back rail, so quick get that cleaned out. Yummy. All right, I got my 2 pieces cut. All the edges are cleaned up. Put back on the truck. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit and put the plasma away, bring out the little welder, and tack everything together. Got all my clamps on, the bottom pieces where they joint up, and then the stake pockets on the top. Everything's nice and straight. Got my little guy sheet metal Millermatic 140 set to do 1/8 inch. So we'll start tacking up, and then we'll just double check we're happy with that, and if we are, we'll go ahead and weld it all the way in. You've got some big gaps. You always just take a hammer like this and you lean against it. You kind of push it where you want it. All right, we've got her tacked up. I think I could take the clamps off probably now. Might end up cutting this piece out. This is pretty questionable. Got a little bit bigger of a gap in some of these spots, but I should be able to make that look nice yet. Trying to weld it without stopping, but I'm not a professional welder. Go ahead and leave some comments. All right, now I'll weld the top and then I'll come down in and weld the cross members. Wire speed seemed to help. I was able to go for about 1.5 inches before it got too hot. Okay, I have to do a little bit of grinding with a flap wheel, but I think I'm gonna cut this piece out and replace it. This is looking pretty bad. Or maybe I can put something over it. I'm not sure. It looks like somebody used to have something here. You can see there's an old weld line. Maybe somebody had like a lot of times you see like 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch plate welded on these, and people used to as like, you know, a hammering point. that turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it. We'll weld the bottom. All right, we got her all welded up. The underside is all buttoned up. You can see kind of some of the hot spots from the cross member welds. So she's really nice and solid. Not going anywhere. It doesn't move, doesn't bend. But now we've got to mount this depth filler neck. So I just took the old piece that I cut out and turn it upside down. You can see, marked my holes where I wanted it to be. I almost put it in the wrong spot. This would have been a cross member, so it's a good thing I didn't do that. I just traced it out with my little pencil that I showed you earlier, marked the holes. So we're gonna grab our hole saw and our drill bits, and we're just gonna pop a new hole in there. That is not a carbide bit. It doesn't work very well, but let's see if it was enough. Yep. And this drill bit is completely dull. That is not going to work. And my next size is broken. So, gotta go find some more drill bits. When you don't have the right drill bit size, you just get a step bit. These are awesome. I use these all the time. Tend to overuse them. Okay. That's mounted. So now I still have to deal with this box area. This part's broke up in here. So the box is pretty nasty. I really should replace some of the sides on it before I put it back in. But for the most part, it's one of these projects like where you just fix the big stuff, or do you just, where do you stop? It just keeps going and going. I feel like the Ranger I worked on in a couple videos back where I was cutting the frame in half and welding it back together, that was one of those projects too where do you stop? You just, everywhere you go and everything you touch just turns into more and more and more. But we got the side replaced. That's what we were after today. We'll get the rub rail back on and we'll see what happens after that. Hey guys, it's the next day. Kind of finished up yesterday on the truck bed. We got the new side put on it. You can see this over here. I think I'm gonna cut out some of the top plate. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. This part has just really got me bothered. So it's super thin. Even overnight, it's just rusted quite a bit, flash rusted from just the part I chipped out of it. So this whole thing is thin. I'm gonna cut that out. I gotta cut out this piece, repair that, and then the other side over here. You can see I have to make that piece as well. I'm kind of tired of using the cutoff wheel, so I might try the torch. I'll get the torch out, see if I can cut a semi-straight square rectangle here, and then this one's pretty much already got a guideline in it, but I'm gonna cut that out and we'll see if we can't make a new piece and then get it welded in today. This one turned out pretty good. Got plenty of good metal to weld to there. I'll probably make a paper cardboard template out of both of these and then cut them out and try to get them tacked in. Same thing for this corner over here. Got a lot to do over there. So I'm just using an old box. I'm just gonna cut the ears off. Try not to stab yourself. There we got a piece. And let's see what we got over here on the other side. Got to come around this piece. This needs to be plated over. All right, I just traced it from underneath. I got the basic shape of what I needed. So I'll just continue those lines, cut it out, and then I'll put it back up and finish the rest from the top. That fits in there pretty darn nice. Alright, as you can see, I got my stick pocket open. I left some material here so I could weld the corner. Yeah, CAD works good. Cardboard aided design. I laid all the pieces out here. I've got them all marked with my pen. So I'm going to start cutting them out with a torch. Got all the cuts done, so let me clean those up a little bit and we'll see if they fit in the holes I cut. We gotta clean up all this rust. Has been sitting since last week, so we'll clean that up and start fitting them into place. Fits in there just how I want it. I don't use these magnets very often. I feel like they actually get in the way most of the time, but maybe they'll help me hold this and get it tacked. Kind of where I want it. All right, this is the spot that I need to fill in last. Torch cut that piece and then cleaned it up. And that fits absolutely perfect. Now I just need to weld it in, and then I'll come back on the other side and finish weld those. And I'll start some grinding. Got to grind all this so it's got a nice round lip to it all the way down on both sides. Then I got to get the rub rail straightened back out. Once the rub rail is straightened out, we'll weld that back on. This one I'm pretty happy with. This whole side all the way down is new. All right, it's the next day. Got this rub rail was fine, and then I welded this one back on. I took this one to work today and I straightened that out. That had a big wave in it. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So this whole side is done. Almost cut this out last night, but I hit it with a hammer and didn't have any soft spots. So it was swelling out quite a bit, so I actually hit it with a big hammer and pushed it back in so it doesn't stick out nearly as far as it used to. But this side was another story. I started hitting this side with a hammer, and it was just like holes everywhere right around this light. So I cut this whole section out. I wish I would have just done it as one piece all the way down. But last time I left this and neglected to do that, and I just did it from here forward. But now this whole side is completely new. Did this off camera. And then we got our new corner and then front half of the bed, which was really rotted out. So the goal today is to get the rubber rail welded on this side and then to do this side as well. And then I should be able to take it into work where we're gonna wire wheel it or sandblast it, one or the other. And we'll get some paint on it. And then it's all about just cleaning up the inside of the truck, and we'll probably send this one on down the road. I don't need 3 F550s right now. I've got this one. This is basically the twin of the same truck. And I've got this one too up here. That's an extended cab 4x4. But I want to keep just one of them. But my aim is to sell 2 and keep 1. Let's get set up here. We'll get this C-clamp to the side, and then we'll tack it in and weld it up. This one was a little rusty, so I should have cleaned that up better. Obviously the ones that are easy to get to turn out the best. This is the one I did yesterday. And you gotta say it, that ain't going anywhere. And I've got 2 more rubber rails for the other side. Probably gonna pull the truck around and bevel those posts, and then we'll tack them up, do the same thing. Well guys, we got the rub rail done. It took us 2 days to get it done, but I only worked on it like 4-ish hours a day, so not too bad. Very happy with how this turned out. Everything put back where it was when Knapheide made it. That went from a very rotted out, nasty 11-foot bed to a very solid 11-foot bed. Looks like I could have maybe done a little here. I think I see a little pinhole right there. I've said it a few times though, where do you stop? I mean, If I wanted to make this thing absolutely perfect, I probably would have reskinned the whole thing. It's all wavy. It's crookeder than a dog's hind leg. But I've done quite a bit of work to this truck. Put 19.5 aluminum factory Ford wheels on the front and back. Recovered the driver's seat. Still have to do the passenger seat. New steering wheel. Took the boxes off. The boxes were pretty rotted. The other side still has to come off. You can see how nice the bottom of that seat looks, even compared to the top. Top's all faded. Got a vinyl armrest cover from a seat that I bought. I swapped that out. Still have to do the steering wheel. Got to repaint this side. It's had a door replaced. It's all red. You can see there too. So we're gonna repaint this whole side white. Wire wheeler sandblast the bed hopefully this week. Get her painted. And then she'll be up for sale. That'll give me some money to work on this one and make it how I want it. This is the one I'll probably keep. And then this one too. I like the bed on this one a lot, the skirted flatbed. I would like to probably take this bed and put it on this truck. And then take this bed, switch it back over to the extended cab. I have Alcoas for this truck as well. That's when I picked up some Alcoas. Seems like they bring a lot more money when they have the nice aluminum wheels. And if you wait long enough and you look around, you end up getting some good deals on them. If you're quick to act, like I think I got this pair for, I don't know, $1,700 for 6 wheels and tires. The one on here I got for even less. I think it was like $1,400. And I've got a really nice set with really nice tires for this truck. But I think I only paid $1,800 for. But they're hard to find. But if you wait around and watch Marketplace, set a notification, you can find them. And they really increase the value of the trucks. Like if I put $1,500 worth of rims on the truck, I could double or triple that money when I go to sell the truck. It looks so much better than the steel wheels. It really makes it pop. Leave some comments in the bottom if you think I did a good job or a bad job. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'll have more content in the future on these F550s. I still got a Ranger I got to work on, and then there's endless projects here at Frosty Does It. So give me a like, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Talk to you guys later. Peace.